Hey, Lifepoint, Pastor Caleb here. It's Community Sunday, and today we're talking about building on the rock. Do you ever wonder why two people can go through the exact same struggle, the same storm in life, and yet come out completely different? Same pressure, the same pain, that same moment that shakes everything. Why is it that one person gets that dreaded phone call, says it's cancer? And yes, they're scared. Yes, they're overwhelmed. But somehow you see them persevering and still standing. And another person hears those exact words, and you watch as their life and everything collapses around them all at once. Do you ever wonder why that is? Take a marriage under pressure. Same financial stress, same sleepless nights, same tension in the home. But one couple fights for each other. One couple doubles down on their commitment and dedication to each other, and the other one just lets it fall apart. Grief, loss, betrayal, a job that disappears overnight, and the impact that has on a family. Why is it that the storm hits, and for some people it exposes great strength, and for others it exposes cracks that they didn't even know were there? Is it personality? Is it willpower? Is it luck? Or is there something going on here that's deeper beneath the surface in us? In 1812, the most powerful man in the world believed that he was unstoppable. Napoleon Bonaparte had conquered most of Europe. He commanded the greatest army on the earth. More than 600,000 soldiers would march under his command. Victory after victory had convinced him of one thing: nothing can stop me. And then he decided to invade Russia. You know your history, it's a bad choice. On paper, it looked brilliant. Superior strategy, superior numbers, superior confidence. But there was one thing Napoleon didn't take seriously. It's that there was a storm coming, that Russian winters hit different. The Russian army would keep retreating. But what would happen is, as they were retreating, they would burn the cities and the villages to the ground so that Napoleon's troops had nowhere to rest, nowhere to resupply. And so their supplies ran low and morale began to crack. And when winter arrived, the temperature plunged. They didn't know what to do. Their horses were dying. Food was disappearing. And soldiers would freeze to death where they slept. And that same army that looked invincible in the summer fell apart just months later when the winter storm came. Out of more than 600,000 men who marched in, fewer than 100,000 would make it home. And what destroyed Napoleon wasn't only the Russian army, it was the fact that everything he built his confidence on, pride, power, reputation, numbers, could not survive real pressure. His foundation was success. His foundation was his own brilliance. His foundation was the belief that he was in control. But when the conditions changed, it all collapsed. That storm, that winter storm, didn't make him weak, but the storm revealed how weak his foundation really was. Imagine if Napoleon had built on different things: a foundation of humility instead of arrogance, a foundation of wisdom instead of pride, a foundation of restraint. Those foundations can survive a storm, but pride can't. Self-reliance can't. And the same is true for us. It's the same for you and I. See, we build our lives on things every day: careers, relationships, money, reputation, or our own strength. As long as life is calm, it can all feel solid around us. But when the diagnosis comes, when the job is lost, when the relationship breaks, when life turns cold and harsh, the storm exposes what we've really been standing on all along. We're going to talk about the rock, because long before any of us faced the storms of modern life, Jesus talked about this exact reality in Matthew chapter 7. Jesus tells us a simple story. He said, there were two men who built houses. One built on sand, and the other built on rock. From the outside, they probably looked the same. But then Jesus said, the rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against those houses. The same storm hit both homes. The house on the sand fell with a great crash, but the house on the rock stood firm. The wise man built his house upon the rock. Jesus wasn't giving us a construction lesson. No, he was giving us a life lesson. If you build your life on money, success, relationships, feelings, or your own strength, it might look fine on sunny days, but when real life hits, Jesus is saying that sand will always show itself as sand. The rock is not a philosophy. The rock is not a religion. The rock is Jesus Christ, and he's calling us to build on himself. So here's the real question. Not will the storm come, because they will. The question is, what are you building your life on right now? Jesus made it clear. The wise builder stood because he built on the rock. Think about the meaning of Jesus as the rock in Scripture. A rock symbolizes permanence, stability, absolute trustworthiness. The Greek word for rock, Petra, speaks of a massive, immovable bedrock. When Jesus is called the rock, it means he's the foundation that never shifts, never erodes, and never fails under pressure. Even Psalm 62:2 reminds us, truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, and I will never be shaken. If your hope is on anything other than Jesus, sooner or later, life will show you how fragile that foundation really is. But if your life is anchored to him, then when the rain falls, the winds blow, you, your family, those you love will be left standing. If you're walking through a storm right now, you don't need better circumstances. You don't need more luck. You need a stronger foundation. You need to build on Jesus. And Jesus invites every one of us to stop building on things that can shift and start building on something that cannot move. And today can be the day that you choose to put your trust deeper into him, to anchor your life to his word and begin laying bricks on a foundation that will hold no matter what comes next. Here's the best part is you don't have to do that alone. In just a moment, you'll have the opportunity to talk through this together, honestly, openly. And you can encourage one another to be wise builders and to strengthen what you're standing on, what you're building on. So what are you building on today? If a major storm hit your life, hit your family this week, what would it expose about your current spiritual foundation? You get to unpack all of that and more today with your amazing community. We hope you have the best Community Sunday. God bless you, Lifepoint. Have a great time today sharing with the family of God. God bless.